Cleopatra. 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 Everyone's heard the name. But how much of her story is actually, well, her story?
That's the question, isn't it?
We're taking a deep dive today because you know how it goes. One of you amazing listeners send in a biography.
Oh, this is going to be good. I can already tell.
And it is juicy with details. Cleopatra, beyond the Hollywood version, ready to uncover what really went down.
Let's do it. Buckle up. Because where Cleopatra is concerned, history loves a little drama. And by a little, I mean a lottie.
No kidding. So first things first, this whole idea of her being like just a love story, the biography sets the record straight. She became queen at 18. 18. Can you even imagine?
Talk about a trial by fire. And you know, that detail right there already tells us something huge. Cleopatra was a major political force long before those famous Roman romances.
Right. Like, forget Caesar for a sec. This woman inherited a kingdom while most of us are trying to figure out college applications. So paint us a picture. What was ancient Egypt even like back then?
Think. Cutthroat politics, but with, like, way better fashion. Seriously, the ancient Egyptians knew how to dress. But I digress. We're talking about a kingdom already feeling the pressure of a rising Rome.
Rome's the elephant in the room, basically.
Exactly. And within Egypt itself, you've got power struggles, factions, everyone wanting the young queen's favor. It makes for some seriously intense Game of Thrones level intrigue. Don't let anyone tell you ancient history was boring.
Intrigue, more like straight up dangerous.
Yeah.
The biography even mentions an assassination, and it wasn't her on the receiving end of that plot.
Yeah, her brother, Ptolemy the 13th. She was co-ruling with him, and, well, let's just say Cleopatra wasn't afraid to play the game of power. It was a ruthless move, but one that showed she was a force to be reckoned with.
Wow. Ruthless but effective. I mean, clearly, she stayed in charge. But it wasn't just about brute force with her, was it? The bio emphasizes her intelligence, too.
Oh, absolutely. This is a woman who spoke multiple languages fluently, not just knew them, spoke them. Do you know what an advantage that gave her in diplomatic negotiations?
Huge. No translators needed. She could talk circles around people.
Exactly. It allowed her to control the narrative, build relationships, and project this image of power and intelligence. She understood that knowledge was a weapon, just as powerful as any army.
It's like, she was playing 4D chess while everyone else was stuck on checkers. But okay, here's the thing. Even in this biography, we couldn't escape the whole Caesar and Mark Antony part of her life. It's almost as if those relationships overshadow everything else she accomplished.
Well, that's the thing about history. It tends to get written by the winners. And in this case, the winners were very keen on painting Cleopatra as a seductress, someone who used her charm to manipulate powerful men.
Because it's easier to dismiss a woman's power if you convince everyone she's just, using her feminine wiles.
Exactly. It fit their agenda and it stuck.
Uh-huh.
But the more we uncover about Cleopatra, the clearer it becomes that she was playing a much more complex game.
So how do we sift through all that? How can we be sure we're getting the real Cleopatra and not just some Roman propaganda?
It's a challenge. But it's what makes studying history so exciting. We have to be willing to question everything, to dig deeper and consider the sources. And sometimes new discoveries turn everything on its head.
Like what? Give us the good stuff.
Okay, well, there have been some recent excavations in Alexandria. You know, the city Cleopatra herself ruled. They think they might have found the remains of a massive library, possibly commissioned by Cleopatra.
Whoa, a library.
A library. Imagine that. This wasn't just about beauty or romance for her. This was a woman who valued knowledge, who cultivated it. It just goes to show there's always more to this story, and we're still uncovering pieces of it centuries later.
That's what I love about these deep dives. It makes you realize that history isn't just dates and names in a textbook. It's alive, it's full of secrets, and who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one to make the next big Cleopatra discovery.
Now, that would be something, wouldn't it? Proof that Cleopatra's story is far from over.
Far from over. All right, everyone, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But trust me, this is one of those topics you're going to want to keep exploring on your own.